In the beginning of the drama, we see that as soon as Yuji smells the mysterious perfume on her hand, in one moment she becomes 50 kilograms from 100 kilograms. She quickly stands in front of the mirror and gets shocked. A little later, she carefully observes her appearance. Just a short time ago, she was a 100 kilograms woman, but now she has become the same young version she had 20 years earlier. Because of this sudden weight loss, she becomes confused, and even her underwear slips down to the floor. Earlier, Yuji used to be a young and beautiful model, but after marriage and having a daughter, her weight kept increasing until she reached 100 kilograms. People looked at her with strange eye. Her husband Young called her fat and ugly and even cheated in front of her. Completely broken, Yuji once imagined dying together with Young. She imagined setting traps in the house and signing divorce papers. When Young came home and read them, he laughed. The curtains opened, traps activated, and an arrow hit his chest. But suddenly we learn this was only Yuji's imagination while she stood on the balcony watching runway model. Their walk reminds her of her glorious youth. After that, she returns to reality and again thinks about ending her miserable life. Just then the doorbell rings. She panics while struggling with the rope, but the ceiling cannot carry her weight and breaks. Outside, an old delivery man keeps ringing the bell. Yuji says she never ordered anything and tells him to leave, yet the stubborn old man keeps trying to deliver a package. Later, Yuji sits on the couch to continue her plan, but suddenly someone knocks on the balcony window. She almost dies from fear. The same old man hangs outside and insists on giving the package. It has no sender name. Afraid he may do something dangerous, Yuji finally accepts it and sends him away. At night, she starts swallowing sleeping pills one after another. However, curiosity makes her open the package. Inside there is a perfume bottle. When Yuji smells it, the fragrance feels like standing inside a peaceful garden. Suddenly clouds gather, lightning flashes, thunder roars, and sharp pain hits her stomach. She faints. When she wakes up, she has become a slim 50 kilograms beauty again. She thinks it must be a dream, but after hitting her head on the wall, she realizes it is real and starts admiring her perfect body. Before she can understand anything, Young sends a message saying he will reach home in 10 minutes. Yuji becomes nervous, hides the sleeping pills, removes the trap, and quickly leaves the house after writing a small note for her daughter. On the street, a beautiful dress in a shop window attracts her attention. The mannequin almost feels alive, as if it is calling her inside. Yuji enters the store. The saleswoman praises her perfect figure, but also mocks fat housewives who cannot wear such dresses. Hearing this hurts Yuji because she herself used to be one of them. An argument begins, and during the fight, the expensive dress tears by mistake. When Yuji tries to pay, she discovers Young has blocked her bank card. Embarrassed, she leaves her ID as collateral and lies that it belongs to her mother. Meanwhile, Secretary Kim, who works as a modeling agent, notices Yuji and becomes impressed by her appearance. He invites her to participate in the company fashion show. Becoming a professional model was always Yuji's dream, so she follows him backstage. There she watches famous model Malin with admiration. The designer Ming is extremely talented, but also strange because he has countless phobias and fears many ordinary things. When he saws pimples on someone's face, he thought it'll spread and becomes faint. He had many allergies from different foods. Despite of his all-word personality, he had great talent. During preparation, one model ruins the show outfit. Ming immediately grabs scissors and creates a new design within seconds, shocking everyone. At the same moment, Yuji accidentally falls down. When Ming sees her face, he harshly criticizes her features and tells her to go away. Malin feels sorry for Yuji and gives her a small payment for the day. Yuji stays hopeful and politely asks if she can watch the rehearsal. Malin agrees, and when the main model gets injured, Ming asks Yuji to take her place. Before ending the show, Yuji falls and faints. It was realized that the effect of the sleeping pills had set in. She becomes furious, and their carefully planned show was ruined. Yuji decides to tell truth to her daughter, but she saws Young with his lover. Daughter tries to stop him but fails. The next morning, an old lady was collecting trash when she heard a loud, drill-like sound, and she wakes up Yuji. She couldn't get up, and then she noticed that she had become fat again. She thought it was just a dream, but when she saw news about her faint, she understands everything was real. She becomes mad and breaks the bench. She remembers yesterday perfume. She goes to washroom and apply it. Soon she becomes young and smart girl again. Yuji finally understands that the magic perfume can fix her miserable life. After that, she goes to Ming and asks him to give her a chance to become a model. Yesterday's runway video has already gone viral, and working anywhere else would only make people laugh at her. At first, Ming refuses and tries to send her away with tricks. However, later, while jogging, he notices that Yuji is doing a live stream online. In the live stream, she sadly explains that her future was ruined because of an accident and that Ming does not want to take responsibility for it. After saying this, she slowly walks toward the river, making it look as if she might jump. Because of the pressure, Ming is forced to accept her request. Then Ming takes Yuji to his home and gives her a strict condition. He tells her that before he returns, the entire house must become completely spotless. Otherwise, she will be fired immediately. Ming lives in a hotel-style apartment, and he is extremely picky about cleanliness. Even professional cleaning companies avoid working for him because of his strange habits. He believes Yuji will give up quickly and run away. But Yuji has spent many years doing housework, so she is actually very skilled at cleaning. In a short time, she manages to make everything perfectly clean. After finishing the work, she becomes tired, sits on a chair, and falls asleep. Slowly, her body begins to swell again, and her clothes start stretching tightly. Her bag even falls far away. When Ming comes back, he becomes shocked to see the situation. He calls Yuji many times, but she is sleeping deeply. When he moves toward the balcony, the sound wakes her up, and she suddenly realizes that her weight has increased again. Ming starts coming closer, so Yuji panics and quickly searches for the perfume bottle. Every time the transformation happens, thunder and lightning appear loudly, and this sound terrifies Ming. He bends down in fear because he thinks some strange creature has entered his house. When he opens the curtains, he only sees Yuji wearing messy and torn clothes. Yuji quickly pretends that she fainted because she was extremely tired after cleaning the whole house, and Ming believes on her ridiculous explanation. Later, Ming takes Yuji to a fancy restaurant because he has allergies to many ingredients, and this place can cook food carefully for him. Yuji immediately mentions that she actually has several chef certificates, but she never managed to get a proper job anywhere. Hearing this makes Ming feel a little pity for her, so he decides that she can try cooking for him. He writes a long list of ingredients that he cannot eat because of allergies and tells her to memorize everything carefully. While filling the personal information form, Yuji becomes nervous because she is afraid her real identity might be revealed. To protect herself, she writes a fake name and copies a random ID number from the internet. That night, while lying on the bed, she keeps staring at the strange perfume bottle. She cannot understand what it really is or who sent it to her. From last transformation, she learns maybe by sleeping charge gets triggered. She locks door, sets alarm for test, but guess was wrong. The next morning, she happily starts making breakfast. Suddenly, her clothes begin tearing again. At that moment, she finally realizes the truth. The perfume transformation only lasts for 12 hours. Meanwhile, thunder and lightning appear again, and Ming becomes scared once more. When he wakes up, he asks Yuji to repeat the precaution list he gave earlier, and she repeats every word perfectly. Her cooking skills also impress him greatly. Finally, Ming decides that Yuji can stay there temporarily, but while eating, he keeps getting distracted by Yuji's beauty. Sometimes he tells her to eat somewhere else, then later feels guilty about it. For Yuji, this is not new. Even her husband Young never liked eating with her. For 20 years, she had been eating alone on the balcony. Hearing this makes Ming silent and curious about her past. Secretly, he asks Secretary Kim to investigate Yuji's background. That night, Yuji watches her runway video again and remembers how 20 years ago she was young, beautiful, and had a perfect body. During rehearsal, she had an accident and fell while she was pregnant. In the hospital, Young proposed to her with a ring and promised he would always treat her well. Believing him, Yuji gave up her dream of becoming a model. But now, with the help of this magic perfume, she decides to chase her dream again. She makes a schedule for applying the perfume. She observes that it would remain at least 1 year. Death was written at the bottom of perfume bottle. She guesses that when the perfume runs out, she will die. But she didn't care, because if she had to live forever with her fat body, she would prefer to die. Even if it was only for 1 year, she was happy. During shopping, Yuji saw her husband Young with his ex. He also sees her. She immediately runs to Ming, take off his mask, and kissed him. Ming shocked and started shouting that she is a rapist. It attracts everyone, and Yuji runs from there. At home, Ming kicked her out of the house. He kept brushing again and kept remembering Yuji's kiss. As soon as he opened the fridge, he saw that Yuji had already made food for him and left it there. Feeling guilty, he found Yuji, who was sleeping in the park, and decided to give her a new chance. At home, she jokingly says that sometimes she gets such strong feelings that she needs men, and she moves toward him. Ming climbs onto the sofa and tells her to stay away. Seeing his reaction, Yuji teases him even more. Before turning fat again, Yuji goes back to her room. The next morning, when she was going to give Ming's meal, she suddenly saw her daughter Yunmei. Yuji quickly turned her face and walked away so she would not be recognized. Yunmei did not notice her, but when Yuji saw the cup noodles in Yunmei's hand, her heart broke. Quietly, she placed the meal outside Yunmei's door and left. When Yunmei saw the familiar food, she immediately understood that her mom had sent it. She ran outside hoping to see her, but Yuji had already disappeared from the hallway. At the company, Yuji accidentally bumped into her idol Jian. She looked at him with admiration and excitement, but just then Ming arrived and broke the moment. Feeling slightly jealous, he quickly called Yuji away and told her to focus on work. Meanwhile, Secretary Kim discovered something strange while checking the ID Yuji had used earlier. The real owner of that ID had been in a serious car accident, stayed in a coma for 3 months, and had actually died just last night. Completely confused, Secretary Kim decided that he would question Yuji about it later and secretly keep an eye on her behavior. After finishing her delivery work, Yuji secretly followed Jian and discovered that some obsessive fans had damaged his car badly. Inside the car there was a new script that included notes from Jian. Just then Yuji's transformation alarm rang loudly. She quickly rushed toward the restroom while Secretary Kim waited outside because he could not enter the women's restroom area. Inside, Yuji saw a cleaner's uniform and suddenly got a clever idea. She decided not to spray the perfume and allowed her body to return to the fat form again. Secretary Kim waited a lot, then he enters in women's restroom area, but Yuji was not there. Disguised as a cleaner, she angrily scolded those fans and managed to recover Jian's script from them. Grateful for her help, Jian gently kissed her hand and told her that he hoped to walk the runway with her someday. Yuji became shy and embarrassed, but she happily agreed and smiled brightly. One day Mailin came to meet Ming, but accidentally bumped into Yuji in the hallway. Mailin, who was actually Ming's ex-girlfriend, immediately felt jealous even though Yuji only worked there as a helper. After calming down, Yuji honestly confessed that she wanted to become a model. Mailin carefully checked her body figure and posture, and finally allowed her to join the audition. Inside the dressing room, Yuji suddenly saw Yunmei there for the audition too. She panicked and quickly ran away, leaving her phone behind. Yunmei recognized the phone and called her mom. The phone started ringing immediately, so Yunmei ran after her. Yuji thought the truth would finally be exposed, but Yunmei simply returned the phone and walked away quietly. And that call was from Ming. He becomes angry on her for not picking up his phone. He treats him like his property and asks her to leave model competition. Yuji wants to argue but couldn't because he was her boss. Later, she borrowed some money from Ming and went to get her identity. Staff told her that someone had already get her ID by paying. She became scared that her truth can be exposed. At home, Yuji doubted on Ming and says she is her mom's ID, but Ming refused. Actually, Secretary Kim had already known her truth. He went to store and gets Yuji's ID. From ID, he found Yuji's high school photo. Comparing both photos, his belief broke. Next morning, Kim asked Ming if he noticed anything strange in Yuji's behavior. Ming says each thing is fringe for him. Secretary Kim asks him, has Yuji ever suddenly become small or big? Ming thought he is crazy. Even Kim found this idea ridiculous, so he kept the truth to himself. At the model show, Yuji saw her daughter. She was standing there nervously. Yuji decided to become her friend. Yunmei didn't know why Yuji was so caring. Soon they becomes friends. Now they become sisters instead of mother and daughter. Later, Yuji went to Young's company wearing a beautiful dress and carrying flowers in her hands. She had come there for revenge. During his award ceremony, she suddenly appeared and loudly embarrassed Young in front of everyone, saying him husband. She even insulted his mistress and confidently declared that one day Young would beg her to return to him again. Back at home, Yuji discovered a hidden room filled with many beautiful dresses and designer outfits. Excited, she happily started trying several dresses one by one. However, she did not know that those dresses were actually Ming's most treasured belonging. When Ming came home and saw the scene, he became furious immediately. They started arguing loudly, and during the argument, one expensive dress accidentally tore. Feeling guilty and believing that Ming would never forgive her, Yuji packed her bag and quietly left the house. But Ming was upset because she was gone. However, later Ming checked the security camera and saw Yuji sleeping in the hallway outside his door. He opened the door and dragged her inside because she was too tired to wake up properly. When he lifted her body, his heart heart strangely started beating faster, and he leaned closer for a moment before suddenly stopping himself and stepping back. That night, Ming drank an entire bottle of wine and collapsed on the balcony floor. The next morning, Yuji woke up trapped inside a sleeping bag. Yuji was trying to get out of sleeping bag when suddenly the alarm rang loudly. Her body started swelling again, and the sleeping bag ripped apart completely. Fur filled her mouth, and she looked around in confusion. She did not know how she had ended up in the bedroom. Her first thought was to find the magic perfume that could change her back. She quietly crept to the living room to find her bag, searching every corner carefully. Finally, she found the perfume. She noticed Ming on the balcony, and at first, she thought he was just drunk. But when she looked closer, his pale face scared her. She decided not to use the perfume yet and carefully helped Ming back into his room. At that moment, Secretary Kim entered the room silently. Seeing a strange fat woman standing there, he almost panicked and reached for his phone to call the police. Yuji realized she could no longer hide the truth. She sprayed the perfume in front of him. Suddenly, lightning flashed, thunder roared, and her body transformed. Secretary Kim froze, staring in shock. Yuji explained softly that this perfume could make her young and slim. She begged him to keep it secret. Secretary Kim was so shocked that he felt as if she is a magician and she had magic. He warned her to stay away from Ming. While trembling, he accidentally dropped the bottle and half the perfume spilled on the floor. Yuji panicked, realizing now she only had half a bottle left. That meant she had only about half a year left to live as her young self. Feeling guilty, Secretary Kim promised he would keep her secret. In the following days, Yuji worked tirelessly designing clothes for a photo contest. Ming could not tolerate her weak sketches and immediately drew a fresh, creative design in under a minute. Yuji was amazed at his talent. The next day, she wore Ming's design to the contest. After the shoot, the results were announced. First place went to her daughter, Yoonmei. Yuji smiled proudly as she watched her daughter win. Malin then announced that the models would go on a field internship. The top two contestants, Yoonmei and Yuji, would join Jian for a special photo shoot. Later, Ming saw Yuji humming happily and smiling, and pictures of her in elegant dresses appeared in his mind. This inspired him to quickly finish his latest fashion design. After the photo shoot, Jian left early. Yuji went to the restaurant restroom to use the perfume and stay young. Yoonmei liked the scent and tried it a little, but nothing happened. Yuji realized the perfume only worked on her. Later, Jian invited them to an amusement park. On the carousel, Yuji and Yoonmei remembered a sad memory from 10 years ago. Back then, Yuji weighed over 100 kilos, and the ride broke while they were on it. Both fell, and Young left angrily, ignoring his daughter's pain. Since that day, they never rode a carousel again. But today, they decided to leave the past behind, and seeing her daughter happy finally gave Yuji peace. Because Yoonmei was underage, she needed her father's permission for modeling. Young refused and told her to focus on studies, so Yoonmei gave up the internship. On balcony, she found some torn pieces of a photo. She arranged and saw she was her best friend. Later, the models went hiking in the mountain. At the top, Yuji realized the perfume's effect was ending and the bottle was missing. Thunder struck and heavy rain began. Everyone went down the mountain, but Yuji stayed to find the perfume. Ming, worried for her safety, ran into the forest despite his fear. On the cliff edge, Yuji saw the perfume but slipped. She caught a branch, but her body was changing back. She grabbed the bottle but fell from the cliff. Ming heard her scream, ran to the cliff, and called her name. Luckily, before he reached her, Yuji had transformed into her young self again. An ambulance arrived in time. At the hospital, doctors found her hands injured. Though she looked 20, her organs were like a 60-year-old's. Ming decided she needed training to stay healthy and fit to join the modeling agency. Later, Yoonmei was shocked. Young says it's her mom's old pic. Yoonmei don't believe that and says it's destiny. She tells Yuji about that photo. Yuji still don't tells her truth because she has a short time and she don't want to make her daughter sad. At night, Ming reaches home where he saw Yuji had drink a lot. He get her to the planetarium. Ming was living alone since his childhood, but after coming Yuji, he starts to liking her even he was hard. His alone and silent life starts changing. Next day, Malin comes to Yuji and asks her to leave Ming's house. Malin was Ming's ex-girlfriend and wanted to live back with him. Yuji saw herself in mirror and says she can't live like that forever and thoughts Malin and Ming are perfect match and maybe she has no time to alive more. At night, Yuji was to quit when Ming says he can fall for her. Yuji was shocked not because of Ming's words, rather because seeing gossip headlines about her and Jian on the big screen outside. Ming becomes jealous. Soon, Jian and Yuji became viral. Then, wherever Yuji went, reporters surrounded her. Jian's company had deliberately spread gossip. A few days earlier, Jian had proposed to Malin, and the someone had captured it. To avoid fans noticing, Yuji was made a fake public appearance board. Knowing the truth, she agreed to be Jian's fake girlfriend contract for 5 months. Returning home, Yuji saw the house messy. She thought someone had broken in and grabbed a bat. In the closet, she saw a suspicious man. She moved to attack, but it was Ming, jealous of the gossip between Jian and Yuji. He argued, saying she never cleaned properly and stayed outside. Angrily, Yuji said she would quit and move out but wanted to keep the promise to Malin. Ming thought she was leaving because of Jian. Ming, frustrated but amused, showed her work contract and warned that quitting would cost 10 million in penalty. Holding 2 contracts, Yuji was confused. The next day, she showed Malin and said she was not ready. Malin asked if she was dating Jian. Yuji said yes, which reassured Malin. Jian and Yuji decided that the relationship should look real publicly, behaving sweetly in front of fans for publicity. Meanwhile, Ming secretly followed them, feeling jealous and wanting to take Yuji away. Fans accidentally made him fall, leaving him confused. He couldn't understand why seeing Yuji with someone else upset him so much. The next day, Ming traveled with a female model for a fashion event. The model tried to get close to him. At home, Yuji realized she no longer needed the perfume. Standing before the mirror, she noticed how slim and confident she looked. Lying on the sofa, she saw Ming on TV and thought he looked handsome. That night, Song brought a glass bottle to Ming's room. She knew from Yuji that if Ming drank alcohol, he would pass out. Song secretly added a little alcohol. Ming had no idea and soon fell unconscious. Song approached him slowly. The next morning, Ming noticed he was partially unclothed. Song came out shyly from the bathroom, explaining the previous night. Ming did not believe her and took her to the hospital to verify. Song panicked and escaped. Ming collapsed from weakness and could not pursue. He called Yuji and told her that he is in pain. Yuji applied the perfume and carefully tended Ming. Half conscious, he saw her. When fully awake, Malin sat with him. He asked if Yuji had been there. Malini denied it, disappointing Ming. Yuji had sent Malin to settle Ming because she knew she had no future with Ming. Meanwhile, her fake relationship with Jian started changing. Jian asked if she wanted to become his real girlfriend. Ming watched from above, feeling strange seeing them closer. When Jian confessed his feelings, Yuji closed her eyes, unable to resist. Suddenly, a bucket of water fell from above. It was Ming. The next day, Jian proposed again for dinner. Jian, innocent and naive, did not understand love. Later, Yuji met her daughter. Yuji noticed marks on her face. When Yuji asked about it, Yunmei said that she had a fight with her father at night, and he accidentally hurt her. Hearing this made Yuji very angry. Young stayed outside every night, and now he was even hurting his daughter. Yuji was furious and felt guilty for not protecting her child. The modeling agency announced that in 4 months, World Fashion Week would take place. Only 2 spots were available. Models had to pass 20 design tests. Back in the living room, Ming told her that Yuji's phone is ringing. She wanted to ignore it, thinking it was spam, but Ming insisted she check it, secretly wanting her lock screen password. He then sent Yuji out to get pumpkin pancake. Alone, Ming used Yuji's phone to message Jian, pretending to be her. He wrote to stop sending gifts and give up. Jian was confused and said he wanted Yuji as his real girlfriend. Hearing real girlfriend, Ming felt uneasy. The next day, Secretary Kim was asked to investigate Jian and Yuji's relationship. Yuji went for auditions, but designers were unimpressed. She seemed stuck in her past, lacking confidence and energy. She failed 5 auditions, but did not give up. 15 chances remained. Secretary Kim told Ming the truth. Jian and Yuji were only pretending. During her training, Yuji learned that Song had tried to harm herself. Yuji, after arranging college work, went to the hospital. While exercising in the gym, Ming got a call from Yuji. She was drunk and asking him to come get her. At first, he refused, but when she threatened to call Jian, he panicked and immediately drove to her. The next day, Ming learned that Yuji had failed an audition. He decided to help her and took her to his office. He promised to train her so she could pass. Yuji was still uneasy. During practice, she fell. Ming demonstrated carefully and said that to become a top model, one must love the clothes and make them a part of themselves. Yuji was afraid of the outfits. She felt she was not worthy, lacking confidence, and that no one cared about her. Ming, gently, assured her that he did care. He slowly approached, and Yuji closed her eyes. But he restrained himself, wiped her tears, and walked away. The next day, Yuji felt confident. She did a perfect runway walk at the runaway show and won the designer's approval. Later, in a hurry, she went out. Young saw her and followed. Yuji kept checking her watch. The perfume's effect was ending. She entered a clothing store, tried oversized outfits, and changed in the fitting room. When she stepped out, she was back in her 900 pounds original body, facing her ex-husband. At first, she bowed her head, then realized she had no reason to hide. Her eyes flashed, and she hit Young with her bag. During the scuffle, she fell into another's arms. It was Ming. They stared at each other for 108 seconds. Then Yuji ran. Ming recognized her. As a child, Ming had fallen into a river, and his pregnant mother could not save him. A young girl jumped in and rescued him. It was young Yuji. Since then, Ming liked her. Years later, when she appeared, he never forgot that promise, even though Yuji didn't recognize him immediately. During Fashion Week, Young noticed that Yuji's runway gestures mirrored his ex-wife's. After the show, he approached to question her. As he reached out, Ming intervened and knocked him down. Yuji stopped Ming and left with him. At a celebration party, Yuji realized the perfume's effect was fading, so she went to the restroom to reapply. A Jien's fan attacked her, accusing her of trapping him. As Yuji tried to pick up the perfume, the girl grabbed her hand and threatened to spill it. Yuji screamed. Curious, the girl smelled it. Lights went out, and Yuji transformed again. The girl ran away. Ming arrived, seeing Yuji with marks on her body. Rumors spread that Jien's girlfriend was close to Ming. To escape reporters, Ming took her to a new house. The next morning, Yuji kissed Ming while he slept and left. Ming was both surprised and happy. News accused Yuji of seducing top stars and designers. The company was affected. Ming held a press conference. Initially, he wanted to say Yuji was just his nanny, but he remembered Jien's warning. Instead, he declared publicly that Yuji was his woman, and he loved her deeply. He chose Yuji over the company. Yuji cried upon seeing this. After the conference, they confessed their feelings to each other. The next morning, Yuji went to the supermarket to check the newspapers. Headlines were all about her love triangle. As she left, Jien's fans blocked the store entrance. Ming decided to take Yuji to his mother's house. There, Yuji discovered that Ming and Jien were actually half-brothers. She was shocked and curious why they didn't get along. Years ago, when Ming fell into water, his mother did not save him to protect the baby in her womb, Jien. Since then, Ming harbored deep anger and resentment toward his mother and Jien. His mother felt guilty for years. Yuji sympathized with Ming's painful past, but did not remember she was the girl who saved him. To preserve Ming and Jien's relationship, Yuji decided to take all the blame herself. She told reporters she had seduced Ming while dating Jien, and both men were victims. Later, Ming received Yuji's goodbye text and was heartbroken. He asked his mother where Yuji was, but she said she had left. Ming told Secretary Kim to find her. One day, he had an allergic reaction to lobster and was rushed to the hospital. Secretary Kim met the original Yuji and explained Ming's recent problems. Yuji didn't realize how much her absence had hurt him. She immediately transformed back into her young form and ran to the hospital, telling Ming she was ready to come back. Finally, a smile appeared on Ming's face. After returning home, Yuji took out an agreement and told Ming not to develop feelings for her, as she would leave for the US in 3 months. Ming left his room heartbroken. Actually, Yuji's perfume effect was ending. Her time was limited. She didn't want Ming to depend on her too much. Meanwhile, Jien arrived with luggage, claiming half the house and saying he would pursue Yuji seriously. Ming got angry and fought Jien. Suddenly, reporters arrived, and Yuji got trapped. The next day, Ming saw Jien and Yuji laughing in the living room. Jealous, he hit Jien with a pillow. That night, all three went camping, sharing a tent. Yuji fell asleep between them. Jien tried to kiss her, but Ming woke up. It was his night mirror effect. To protect her, he moved her aside and slept between them. In the morning, Yuji was happy to see both brothers close. Later, Ming's mother gave her childhood photos of Ming. Yuji recognized him, but couldn't recall where she had seen him. Yuji attended a phone launch event, discovering Young worked there. Young secretly entered her dressing room, took her phone, and unlocked it easily, convinced Yuji was his overweight ex-wife. Yuji returned, and Young accidentally put her perfume in his pocket. After the event, Jian arrived to take Yuji and gifted a hairpin. The alarm rang. It was time to reapply the perfume. Yuji checked her bag, but couldn't find it, suspecting her ex-husband. She ran, and Yuji's body began to change. Jian chased, but only saw a disheveled woman. He feared for her, checked, and found a heavy-set woman standing. He felt scared, but also pity. She had no shoes, and her clothes were torn. Jian brought clothes and slippers and dropped her near the police station. He noticed the hairpin she wore, like the one given to Yuji, and suspected it might be her. Yuji informed Secretary Kim the perfume was missing. Kim got nervous because Young's company had a big dinner, followed by Yuji's fans singing event. He told Ming Yuji wouldn't attend due to illness. At the dinner, Yuji had to sit as Young's wife, shocking Ming. Yuji avoided eye contact. Young hurried her along. Yuji left, but the perfume was still missing. Then Ming called her name sadly, asking why she forgot him. Yuji was shocked he knew. Young grabbed her and threatened her, revealing the perfume. Yuji tried to snatch it, but hit the wall. Young dripped some perfume onto her hand. Ming arrived just in time, knocking Young down. He saw Yuji's face changing. Suddenly, the lights went out. Thunder struck. And when they returned, Yuji had disappeared. Downstairs, Ming and Jian saw Yuji taking photos with fans. Jian noticed the hairpin and fell in shock. That night, Yuji sneaked home and opened a box, remembering the childhood painting Ming had made. He had told her she would become a designer and she his model. Yuji felt deep gratitude for Ming. Ming was confused, not realizing the woman before him was his first love. Running to the second floor, Jian suspected she could transform. In a dream, he saw himself marrying Yuji, but as he kissed her, she turned into a heavy-set woman. He woke up terrified, shocked by her face. Then, Ming received an email from his first love. Excited, he booked a fancy restaurant and proposed to the original young Yuji. However, the perfume's side effects worsened. Yuji's health deteriorated. She suppressed her feelings, rejected Ming, and told him not to meet again. She transformed back into her young form to tell him she was his first love, but her condition suddenly worsened. She pushed Ming and ran with little time left. Yuji revealed everything to Secretary Kim. Feeling guilty, Kim suggested checking the perfume source. Maybe the delivery company had clues. They went to the delivery office, where the workers said the company had closed 20 years ago. They noted old information and tracked down the former owner. Yuji immediately recognized him, the mysterious old man who gave the perfume. They felt progress. But the man's wife revealed he had dementia for 20 years and hadn't delivered anything. Their last hope remained uncertain. It was over. Now Yuji only wanted to achieve her modeling dream. After World Fashion Week, she would leave for good. At home, she confessed to Ming that she had only come to him to become a top model. Everyone had used her. Hearing this, Ming packed his bags and moved to a hotel. For the next few days, even when they met at the office, they behaved like strangers. One evening after training, Yuji suddenly had a nosebleed. Unfortunately, Young saw her. He pushed her against a wall, and she fainted. Young planned to put her in his car and take her to a small, dark room. Yunmei witnessed everything, got into a taxi, and followed. On the way, she called Ming, informing him that her father had taken Yuji. Ming rushed there immediately. Young brought Yuji to his company. Yunmei saw his car outside, but the door was locked. Ming used a chair to break the glass. Just as Young was about to complete his plan, Ming arrived and knocked him down. He tried to take Yuji to the hospital, but she felt too heavy. Then he realized Yuji had transformed into her first love form. He drove her to the car, suspecting she might indeed be his first love. It seemed too crazy to believe, so he stepped out to calm himself. Yuji took the chance to escape. At an intersection, she met Jian. To avoid conflicts, Yuji entered Jian's car. Jian awkwardly asked if she was really Yuji. She confirmed and asked him to take her to the company. At the company, she searched thoroughly but couldn't find her perfume. Confused, she didn't know where to go. During this, she was torn between present love and her first love. One had left her, the other hadn't recognized her for 20 years. The hurtful thing was that both of them dumped him. Secretary Kim found Yuji's lost perfume at the incident site and returned them. Yuji immediately recognized it, but Ming saw everything. He reassured her and took Kim aside. Kim revealed the truth. If the perfume ran out, Yuji would die. That was why she had been staying away. Shocked, Ming decided to protect her. That night, they went home. Yuji was about to apply the perfume, but Ming stopped her, saying he would love her no matter how she looked. The alarm rang, and Yuji began to transform. They felt awkward but happy. Yuji quit work and became a full-time housewife. Ming tried to find the same perfume through experts and even ordered many from his mother, but nothing worked. Yuji fainted and stayed in a coma for a week. They found the perfume bottle, saw writing on it, and poured 2 drops on Yuji's hand. She woke up shortly, and they hugged and cried. 20 years ago, Ming had received a maturity gift. On his way home, he saw a shining house and entered. It was a miracle perfume workshop, owned by the same old man who delivered the perfume. Ming smelled it and decided to make a bottle for his beloved Yuji, writing a love message inside. He gave it to the old man to include in the bottle. Old man asked him why he wanted to give this to her. Ming wished in his heart that may Yuji love him. 20 years later, the perfume reached Yuji. Both were happy but anxious, wondering what would happen when it ran out. The next day, Yuji and Ming visited the workshop, which had changed a lot. They cried, fearing that once the perfume ended, Yuji would leave. They promised to spend every moment together. World Fashion Week arrived. Yuji's dream was to wear Ming's designs on the world stage, a promise from childhood. She applied her perfume, unsure if it would last all week. Suddenly, Young entered the changing room, who was accused of embezzlement. Thinking she had reported him, Ming arrived, furious, but calmed down when Young grabbed the perfume. Young didn't care for Yuji and broke the bottle. The police caught him. The perfume could last 1 more week, but it seemed everything was ending. Luckily, Yuji had applied some recently, giving her 12 hours to safely finish the show. Ming didn't care about World Fashion Week. He only cared for Yuji. After the kidnapping, Yunmei discovered that Yuji is her mother and gives a USB in which was her father's crime evidence. Unsure whether to use it, Yuji wanted to follow her heart. She worried her daughter had seen too much at a young age. Yuji prepared for the show. Ming said he had 2 dreams: to see Yuji wearing his design and to share his feelings after the show. Yuji was happy to spend time with her loved ones and stand on the world stage with her daughter. After the show, her second dream would come true. Yuji was about to be proposed to. She happily called Yuji to the stage, but 12 hours had passed, and she didn't know what would happen. As she opened the dressing room door, a bright white light flashed, and Yuji disappeared. Ming was left alone. Yuji reached the mysterious perfume workshop, where the old man explained everything. He was part of a system helping humans. He had delivered the perfume 20 years ago and reunited her with Ming. Yuji tried to reach to Ming. Old man asked would she live with confidence. If she comes in front of him with heavy weight, would he love her? She hesitated. After Yuji vanished, Ming felt lonely and almost gave up by eating pills, but his mother comforted him, saying Yuji would return, and if he wouldn't there, then it would be more painful. Ming got a reason to live. Later, Ming started to cook. A year later, on his birthday, he received a gift from Yuji. She had sent earlier thinking maybe she would not be there that day. During planetarium visit, Ming bought gift for her and put it into wishing mailbox. Ming's heart broke again by remembering past. He goes to planetarium and made a sincere wish that Yuji come back soon. Maybe her sincerity reached the sky and Yuji returned. Yuji had spent the year regaining confidence to return. Ming had made a special ring for her. It didn't matter how she looked. He would always love her, and Yuji accepted his love.